From $35,000 homes to $11 trillion hire markets.
Yeah, so today we're talking about Sydney's affordability and the millennial exodus, houses under $100,000, the fleeting first home buyer window, RBA spending warning, and hotspots leading the charge.
61% of first home buyers miss out on a property because they're either too slow or they're outbid.
Yeah.
Which is a huge amount.
Yeah.
I think the RBA has changed a lot over the years, and they're using media as a way to try and control what's happening instead of using policy to control what's happening.
Absolutely.
You could buy 45 Lightning Ridge homes for the same price as one in Sydney.
By the whole town, by the population.
So we'll get straight into it. First one is Sydney's affordability crisis. We obviously know that that is an issue.
Yeah.
Has been an issue for a while. So the median house price in Sydney at the moment is $1.6 million, which is substantial.
And I mean, we spoke recently about the first home buyer guarantee scheme with the LMI, with the government guaranteeing the LMI. That was for a price cap of $1.5 million. So, you know, as a median price of 1.6, obviously you're looking at, you know, surrounding suburbs of Sydney for houses, but more so 2 and 1 bedroom units.
And you look at the price to income ratio. So it's 13.8 times the average income.
Yeah.
So that's ranked second most affordable city in the world.
Yeah.
Is Sydney.
Yeah. Not surprising.
So to put that into perspective as to why it's unaffordable as well, most lenders use what's called a debt to income ratio, similar to, you know, price to income. And most lenders are capped at six times.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can't buy these properties in a lot of cases.
You're 6 times compared to 14 times.
Correct. You know, you literally, most people can afford half of that, yet they're expected to buy at that amount.
Yeah. So as a result, 70,000 people aged between 30 and 40 left Sydney over the period of 16 to 21. So not sure of the stats post 21, but assuming because it's just become more and more unaffordable, it would have been very similar figures over that period of time as well.
100%. Well, you can't, like a lot of, in that age bracket 30 to 40, that's probably one of the most common first home buyer brackets these days.
Exactly.
So they can't afford it. So they're moving to places like Newcastle, Central Coast, Wollongong, those areas, and either commuting or getting jobs in those areas. Which is estimated to cost $10 billion per year to Sydney in lost productivity and and talent leaving.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
And I would say post 21, it was more than 70,000 people because we also had really rapid rental growth during that time as well. So for people who not only couldn't afford to buy a house, there's a lot of people probably couldn't afford to rent a house as well.
Well, you couldn't get them.
Exactly.
You know, you just lined up for hours outside the door and
Yeah.
So next one is homes under $100,000. And this is correct. I have looked at these.
Yep.
Look, whether you buy them or not, but...
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff online's just clickbait articles for people to try and buy, but there are homes out there under 100,000.
So the first one was in Lightning Ridge for $35,000. It's basically a metal shack, but go for gold. You can buy this for $35,000.
Yeah.
It's actually got 2 caravans tacked onto it. So the population in Lightning Ridge is around 2,000, a bit under 2,000.
Yeah.
And it's over 700 Ks from anywhere, really.
Next one is up in the NT. It is a freestanding 3-bedroom house, so that's a little bit better. But the
population's 350
so
in the whole town.
Know everyone in town.
And it's 220 Ks from Darwin. So don't piss your neighbours off because you don't have many.
Fly down to Tassie if you want to get a place for 85,000, 3-bedroom freestanding house, population 2,000 people.
Yeah, so that's in Queenstown, Tasmania, not to be confused with the nice Queenstown in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So put that in comparison to Sydney. You know, yes, you can buy things for 35 grand, but do you really want to buy it?
Maybe that's where all the 30 to 40-year-olds are moving to.
You could buy 45 Lightning Ridge homes for the same price as one in Sydney.
By the whole town, by the population.
Well, that's a big percentage of the whole town.
100%.
So look, there is, you know, there was another one that did pop up at Broken Hill, which was around $100,000, which had 9% annual rental return on it.
Yeah.
So there is opportunities.
There are big yields in towns like Broken Hill.
Yeah. Not much growth, but, you know, you get some good yields.
Yeah. But to complement the 30 to 40-year-olds leaving Sydney because of, you know, the affordability issues, there is a fleeting window for first home buyers.
Yeah, and this is, yes, number 3. So basically a stat that's come out, and I see it with my clients as well, is 61% of first home buyers miss out on a property because they're either too slow or they're outbid.
Yeah.
Which is a huge amount.
Yeah.
We see it literally weekly. We'll call clients, we're going to open homes and we're just missing out on everything.
Yeah.
The simple fact is you're not offering enough for that property.
Yeah. And it is a shift in value perception. Everything's just a perception. Just because it's a listing price doesn't mean that that's what the value of the property is. The listing price, a lot of people don't realise real estate agents are there to market and sell something for a third party.
Correct.
The tool that they use is realestate.com. Realestate.com is a marketing tool owned by a marketing company for real estate agents to market properties on. So marketing is there to generate interest in a property, and that's exactly what they're doing. And first home buyers are tying value
to the price guide.
To that price guide.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of is people offering at the lower end of the price guide.
Yeah.
Like me and you know that that's not going to win.
Yeah.
It is never going to win.
Yeah. Unless
there's it's a distressed sale or something needs to happen really quickly. Most of the time, they're just going to sit on it for a little bit longer, and someone's going to offer higher than what you are going at that lower end.
And so just to touch on that a little bit further, to give first home buyers a little bit of knowledge around that, the legal requirement for real estate agents is to guide within 10% of the value of the home. They give and how that works is based on the agency agreement that they have with the vendor. There will be a 10% range based on what they see value on the property, on the contract. There can be a 10% range of what they market the property for. The high end of the range might be the bottom end of what's on the agency agreement. And then they want the top end of what's on the agency agreement, which from the lower end of what you see online to the top end of what's on the agency agreement might be close to around 20%. Yeah. But they still fall within that 10%
because of the top
range
end.
Because it's guide, not of what the marketing is. So I think first home buyers especially, just need to become a little bit more educated on that.
And don't stress too much about that guide.
Yeah.
Pay what you're willing to pay for that property, and be aware that if you are going low with offers, you will miss out. Yep. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
You're not going to get a bargain unless you want to move to Lightning Ridge. Yeah. 35,000. Off you go. I reckon you could get that tonight.
One of the other problems with this first home buyer window is it is taking around 6 to 7 years for first home buyers to save their deposit.
Yep.
Which is why the government's just made changes to this scheme recently. So they are trying to shorten that window for people to save a deposit to get into the market. But again, it is that perception of value of the property, whether they're going to move forward and continue to purchase or not.
And I think with all the schemes coming out this year and next year, the affordability is only going to get worse in certain areas. So if you are wanting to buy your first home, buy it. Yeah, don't 100%.
Wait. So first, RBA warning, and this spending, the amount of spending that's happening in the consumer market at the moment could cut rates. Could kill rates.
What I don't understand is why the RBA is whinging about it, because they lowered interest rates to make people increase their discretionary spending, and now people are spending more. They're going, oh, that's not good. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like it's working. Yeah. It's doing what it's meant to be doing. Latest forecast, from CBA, ANZ and NAB are predicting only one more cut, and that's to be in November, which will bring the cash rate down to 3.35, which will bring the actual rate, so the average actual rate, just under 5% in most cases, or quite close to that 5%.
And again, this is very sort of, it's almost irrational behaviour, because they're just making changes and announcements constantly. Because all of these economists did forecasts. We did a podcast 3 months ago, another one 6 months ago, and every single one of those podcasts, every economist has said something different.
Correct.
And the RBA has announced something different in every single one of those episodes. And it's purely based on, like you said, one of them was they didn't want to make a decision because they only had monthly data and not quarterly data.
They didn't know how to add
and they
3
got the
months
quarterly
together.
data, and then they've changed their decision, and now they've made this announcement. It's just...
I think the RBA has changed a lot over the years, and they're using media as a way to try and control what's happening instead of using policy to control what's happening.
Absolutely.
And they're using dramatic words. Like some of the article that I read this morning was the RBA is spooked. I highly doubt they're spooked, to be honest. And I don't think they're worried.
Yeah.
I think everything's working as it is, so we might not need to cut rates further, is what the headline should be.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And
it's working, let's review it. Simple as that.
Maybe they've used that media as a tool to try and spook people.
Yeah.
Like they said, because it has been just a flock of people rush back to the market because of the interest rate drops. And it's just accelerating house prices. So maybe it is what you just said. They're just using it as a tool instead of policy.
So the last one, so it was in realestate.com, released 25 hotspots. We've just picked 5 out based on some of the, I guess, more common year-on-year growth.
Yep.
So what they're saying is these suburbs have had the most, or these areas have had the most increases over the year-on-year, and Townsville is number 1. 17.6% year-on-year growth, which versus the Queensland regional average of 9.9.
Yeah.
So near double. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
We have done a podcast on that. Insert link.
Yeah.
But,
it'll be there somewhere. You can find it.
The podcast on that, we did talk about some of those reasons. It's supply. There's a supply issue in that area.
Yeah.
Once that supply is increased, prices will start to stabilise.
They've thrown a massive amount of money at infrastructure. They didn't do anything for supply of property there.
No.
And now that people want to be there because of this infrastructure, they're starting to build that supply. So
Sydney Southwest up 8%, Melbourne's Northwest 4.2% versus Melbourne CBD at 2.1%.
Yep.
Southeast South Australia, including Mount Gambier, again outpaced Adelaide. So there's all these examples of regional centres outperforming major capitals over the last 12 months.
Yeah, and a lot of them come with high yields. I mean, Melbourne, Northwest and Southeast South Australia, I mean, to have anything below that 8%, that's subpar growth, really.
Yeah.
4.2%, that's probably not even outpacing inflation.
No, well, it's not. So, look, in summary, I think this is going to be a trend that might continue for a little bit because these capital cities are just too expensive.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You look at Sydney as that example, near 14 times your income is what you have to buy at the moment, and that's a median.
Yeah.
So that's including all of the cheapest and all of the most expensive.
Yeah, and I have conversations with people weekly on, they just think they're going to buy, they continue to want to buy in Sydney because they think it's just going to continue to grow because of this. They're tying the value of the property or the value of the property to future growth. If people can't service the income and can't afford to continue to buy these expensive properties, how are they going to continue to grow at the same rate? It's like, anyway, okay, that's another episode, I think.
I think it is. But my biggest takeaway is literally for the first home buyers watching, if you find a house that you like, be more realistic in your offers. You in a lot of cases, people are missing out on these properties because they don't want to spend an extra 10, 15 grand.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Work that out off capital growth on an $800,000 property at 8% per annum.
Yeah,
you're making that money back real quick.
Absolutely.
So that's it for today, and we'll see everyone on the next one.
See you on the next one.